Hi everyone, this is a video to show you how to combine groups. And my example for effect modification, I gave you a contrast between a yes-no or rural-urban comparison. What do you do if you have 5 groups or 3 groups or 4 groups that you want to recombine in different ways? I have created an Excel file for you to do that so that, let's say, for example, if you have 3 groups that are low income and 2 groups that are high income, you can add up the values for the 3 subgroups together to get one odds ratio and the 2 subgroups on the right side to get another odds ratio. So this is just to simplify that process of combining groups. And I'm going to click on the tab for the example using the wealth index. So the middle example is combining groups. That's one you can play around with. You could also just use the example from the wealth index. It just means that if you use that example, you'll have to relabel things. So here in Wealth Quintile 1, 2, and 3, so the Demographic Health Surveys has 5 quintiles based on wealth. Largely that's based on assets, things like ownership of a car, the type of roof, the type of housing, various items that the house may or may not have. So we call that wealth. We have wealth quintiles, and you could combine the lowest 2 quintiles. So you could add those 2 up. Whichever groups you're going to combine, you want to label on the left side. So here I left out, and under combining groups, you'll see effect modifier group 1, effect modifier group 2, effect modifier group 3. This program is set up to let you combine as many as 4 groups. I've only combined 3 of them, so I left that 4th category, that 4th. So the way to combine them is for your main exposure, add up all of the stunted children, so how many for your outcome. I'm calling stunting is my outcome. So for your outcome, how many in your exposure group in quintile 1 do not have that outcome? So here it happened, I typed stunted with the outcome, 50 that don't have the outcome for the first quintile. In the exposure group in the second quintile, how many have the outcome? How many don't have the outcome? Now what happens is the program will sum all of the groups that have the condition, the outcome, and that don't have it, and it will add them down below into a new 2x2 table with your exposure group. In this case, being a boy is the exposure group and the comparison group. So in order to get the comparison group summed up, you have to go through that whole process again for the non-exposed. In this case, I'm comparing girls, so the girls would be the non-exposure group. So how many of the girls in quintile 1 have the outcome? How many do not have the outcome? In quintile 2, how many have the outcome? How many don't? And in group 3, how many have the outcome? How many? For simplicity, I set the numbers as being 40, 40, 40. Obviously, in real data, each one of these quintiles will have different numbers who have the outcome and don't have the outcome. So just look at the data, put in your yes condition for your outcome, your no condition for each of your groups, your exposure groups at the top. So your yes exposed and your non-exposed at the bottom. And then it will combine all of those subgroups into one odds ratio where you can compare a stratified odds ratio, for example, for low income, how many low boys combining quintile 1, 2, and 3 are stunted and not stunted, and how many girls are stunted and not stunted. On the right side, you can add up your remaining categories. So you might decide to add quintiles 1, 2, 3, 4 as low income and compare them all to the high income group. Usually it makes more sense to split it roughly evenly or even to make a different selection based on what's the prevalence of the outcome in the different groups. In this example, I'm just giving you low income as quintile 1, 2, 3. High income based on wealth as quintiles 4 and 5. combining quintiles 4 and 5. So it's the same process, just one less row to add up. And so how many of those boys in quintile 5 had the condition stunting? They did not. How many had in 5 had the condition? Now go down to girls, do the same thing. Obviously, in your real data, you're not 5. I just typed it in here to make it so that I could give an easy. So the right side below, you're going to have a new odds ratio where all of the quintile 4 and 5 data is combined with boys for the outcome and for the contrast condition. Same thing with. I hope that helps. This is just an extra Excel file I put in case you don't have yes, no conditions for your effect modifier and you want to recombine groups in different ways.